What is up, everybody? Today we're taking a look at day 13 for the Advent calendar, and today's tank is the Yak Tiger 88 or the Pack 43 Yak Tiger. Obviously, the first thing they're going to sell is the bundle on the page here. So the only bonus is apparently the missions, which is, it's good. Times 5 XP for every victory for 15 missions, 15 games is what they mean by missions there. Is, decent. I don't think it warrants a €50 price tag, and you get some gold as well and some personal reserves, stuff like that. It is, however, also for still standard without all the shenanigans, and that will be around, I think it's like 37 euros. So if you really wanted, buy it there. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the tank later. I'm just gonna check the deals first. NA also has the deal, and the only bonus seems to be a large caliber gun rammer at $68. And you get two of them. Like, NA gets really shitty bundles lately. So if this is the only bonus, that's especially shit. But I think all the equipment might be a bonus. Like 19% off. I don't know where that comes from. Like, this is pretty super shit, and NA cannot buy it separately for some reason. I love the inconsistency here. EU can buy it separately, NA can't. We've had previous days where NA can and EU cannot. So NA definitely I would not recommend there. Asia also has the bundle going on for 58 euros, where you get more gold as a bonus, which is obviously nicer than the credits from NA. But still, would you really spend 60 bucks on a fucking Panther or Yak Tiger 88? I do not think so. And Asia has it separately as well, I think. Yep, there it is. So Asia and EU have it separately, and NA doesn't. I also noticed that Asia has a bunch of weird packages here. Festive promos. Oh, only 100 euros for tier 3 premium. Ooh, it's not even that good anymore. Ooh. Nice, definitely buy that, Kappa. I mean, don't buy it. The other ones are... Oh, this is the beta tank or something like that. For $26 with some gold and premium days. It's likely that this is not worth it. I'm not even going to spend time looking at the stats of this thing. It's probably going to be like a stock Sherman with a bit more armor. I think that was the case. And the other one is the super shit Hydro stat for $99. Nice. Nice meme. All those festive promos can go fuck themselves. It's that easy. So anyway, the Panther, or I keep calling it the Panther, the Yak Tiger 88. Is it any good? Not really. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, fucking prints credits. And that mostly comes down to the fact that the shell price is really low. And the pen is pretty high, 203. Used to be pretty high compared to other premiums. Nowadays, not so much. And premium ammo is not even that great, 237. It does have limited matchmaking, which is kind of rare nowadays, because obviously they don't make those things, the limited matchmaking tanks anymore. Top speed of 38, seems decent, but it never reaches it, because the power of the weight is super shit. The reverse speed is super shit, and the tank reverse is super shit. So if you're used to, like, the Yak Tiger or something like that, the tier 9, and you expect some of that mobility, you're not gonna get it. Not whatsoever. It has a good DPM, but it has low alpha per shot, so you need to put down shots after shot to get the DPM going, which in Mortal Tanks is kind of hard to do, unless you like lock down a flank or something like that, which is also hard to do because it's hard to get that with the tough speed that you have. The gun itself isn't bad. I mean, DPM is good, pen is okay, but more often than not, you're not going to put out more than one, maybe two shots into a target before he either gets away or stuff like that, unless you get the tracking shot, of course. All in all, I'd say this tank is not worth it. Some people are like, oh, it's so, it prints credits, blah, blah, blah. But, like, you can have so much more fun printing credits with other premiums. Especially nowadays, now that there's really good alternatives to this tank. And also, like, the price is so high compared to some of the new premiums that are coming out. And it's more expensive than Scorpion and stuff like that. Which is obviously something you're gonna compare it to. I also compare it to the Yak Tiger. That's purely because there's probably people that played the Yak Tiger that that expect that level of, like, mobility. And now you might say, like, well, the heart resistance is lower and the power to weight is lower. But this is a pretty big difference. Going from 22 to 26 tanker traverse is pretty big if mediums are trying to get, you know, around you and stuff like that. Also, something I should probably mention, because otherwise YouTube comments will do it for me. The armor is decent, but, you know, up to 200 effective, like frontally. There's not a lot of angling you can do because the gun doesn't wiggle too much. But the new premiums, such as the Liberté and the Patriot, have a stock pen of 132 and or 232 and 230, which means they have no issue spending your front. Now you could say, well, I'm going to be hauled down, but most of the time you're either going to be too slow, you're going to be outflanked, you're going to be tracked, you're going to be fucked, basically. It's just too slow. I would love to see it get the same tank traverse as the tier 9 Yak Tiger. That would help it a lot, in my opinion. But there's also the Rheinmetall Scorpion that came out, you know, not too long ago. This is the one without camo, but the other one's with like a shitty yellow camo that everybody has. Now you could look at these stats and say like, well, no, the DPM is lower, you know, you have less ammo, stuff like that. The aiming time is longer, stuff like that. But you trade for 490, which is way better. And one of the things you usually don't want to be the one, especially in higher tiers, to be shooting like rapidly. Because usually you're gonna have to trade. You know, you're gonna have to trade shot for shot. That situation happens a lot. TDs, that happens less with because you're sniping and stuff like that. But even then, if you keep, you know, you want to put 490 into somebody and get back into cover, do stuff like that. Also, the Scorpion has no armor, but it goes 60. It has a tank traverse of 30. It has a fully traversable turret. It's a lot of benefits the Scorpion has that just make it, for me, a lot more enjoyable. Some people don't mind the slow pace of a Yak 88. I guess there's people like that out there. But I think the majority of people would enjoy the fast-paced Rheinmetall Scorpion and the more active gameplay, a lot more fun than the static gameplay that the Yak 88 brings. And then also there's the Canoni Yak Panzer, and honestly, you would probably want to buy Yak 88 over Canoni Yak Panzer, because the Canoni Yak Panzer is one of those things that I would never, ever recommend to anyone ever. Probably one of the worst premiums in the game, especially at tier 8. The Canoni Yak Panzer. Terrible. But that's another story for another day. Also, I think the Rheinmetall Scorpion is just as expensive or slightly cheaper than the Yak 88. But it's not always for sale, but neither is the Yak 88 these days. Just, I would buy a Rheinmetall any day of the week, and I cannot really recommend the Yak Tiger 88 simply because it's just not that fun to play. It's not a bad tank like a Canoni Yak Panzer. It's not great either. I would love to see it get a better tank traverse. I think that would help a fuck ton. Yeah, and you know, it does have limited matchmaking. The Rheinmetall Scorpion doesn't. Make your own decision here. I would go for the Rheinmetall Scorpion any day of the week. But yeah, so basically there you go. And do keep in mind that this is probably a sign of things to come. Premiums and higher sock pens. So, you know, your armor is gonna be less and less important, and also things like IS3s and stuff are gonna kinda, you know, come towards that pen levels of like 219 or so, I think. So you're gonna have to be careful against your own tier 8s, and you're gonna meet tier 9s that can easily pen you as well. And because the superstructure is flat, there's a lot of like heat ammo that goes through it. You know, it is still, you know, good 250. There's a lot of tanks that are gonna struggle, like an IS6 is gonna struggle a lot against you, especially with stock ammo. They're just not gonna pen you. But the new premiums are gonna shit on you, and a lot of people are playing the new premiums. And there's more TDs, the Scorpion's gonna shit on you, stuff like that. So I don't think I can recommend it. But, you know, I gave you all the information I have on it. I would buy a Rheinmetall Scorpion any day of the week. I would play Yak 88 over the Canoni Yak Panzer, that's for sure though. So make of that what you will. I'm not gonna recommend it. We'll take another look at day 14 tomorrow. Don't forget to maybe subscribe and check out more videos, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.